G'day guys, this is Tyr, back with another Fallout 76 guide, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing an insanely useful bit of information that may revolutionise the way you play 76. I'm going to show you all how to hyper-optimise your VATS usage, basically so that you'll be using the least amount of AP per shot while in VATS as humanly possible. Now before we get started, I do have a disclaimer for you all, so that I don't waste some people's time. This hyper-optimization will straight up not work with heavy weapons or shotguns of any type. It also won't work on single-fire rifles or pistols. And sure, you can get close and make those weapons use a little bit less AP with this guide, but you'll never get to that hyper-optimization level with those weapons, unfortunately. So, that means no LMGs, Gatling plasmas, miniguns, Gauss shotguns, pump actions, no revolvers and no lever action rifles, etc, etc. This handy little tip will only work on weapons that are in the pistol and rifle category that can be modified to be automatic. So keep that in mind, and with that being said, let's jump straight into it. So in today's video, like I said, I will be showing you all how to hyper-optimize your VATS usage. This will allow us to stay in VATS for a significantly longer amount of time, and if you've been paying attention to the background footage, you will have noticed how overpowered this is. Just look at how my AP usage is so minuscule, it's barely even noticeable, and this is only possible if you follow this guide to the letter. Basically, the first step above all else is make sure your weapon can be modified in the receiver slot to become an automatic weapon. You should have this option on weapons like the handmade rifle, combat rifle, automatic pipe rifle, railway rifle, even the 10mm pistol. If you have one of those weapons that can be modified to be automatic, then congratulations, that's step 1 complete. Step 2, however, is a bit more difficult. Step 2 is seeking out your desired automatic weapon of choice and ensuring that it has the 3rd star legendary effect of 25% less AP cost while in VATS. Now there are really only 2 ways to get one of these things. You could get incredibly lucky with a drop from in-world or in-game or with the purveyor, or you could use one of the external trading websites like Reddit, Discord or Facebook to get your desired weapon. Now let me reiterate, this will absolutely not work as well as I'm showing you guys in the background footage if your weapon does not have the 3rd star legendary effect. That is a key component to this guide. And the reason we also need it to be an automatic weapon is because automatic weapons come with a natural 50% reduction to AP usage by default. So with that automatic 50% AP reduction added onto a legendary effect, we so far have a total of 75% less AP usage, just like that. But I know that we can bump that number up by choosing the correct weapon modifications. Also, just touching on that for a little bit, the way that these AP reduction values are actually calculated is multiplicatively now. They used to be additively, but now they are actually multiplicatively, which means they work a little bit differently. I'll go in depth on that later on at the end of the video. Just a heads up. Anyways, once you've found yourself your desired automatic weapon with less AP cost, it could be anything. It could be a god roll bloodied one with also 25% faster fire rate, or it could be an average weapon like Nocturnal with limb damage, for example. It's your choice of weapon, but just make sure it has that 3rd star prefix of 25% less action point cost. Anyways, next step is to mosey on down to the weapon workbench where we will be applying the following mods to completely min-max for both damage output and less AP cost usage. I will be using the 10mm pistol, handmade rifle and fixer as an example in the future. Firstly, we will obviously be starting off with the receiver. We want to have ourselves an automatic one, which by default reduces the AP cost of each shot by 50%, as I already mentioned. And if you have the resources to spare, I recommend using the prime automatic receiver for all of these weapons for that little bit of extra stopping power and bonus damage towards scorched enemies. But the powerful automatic receiver is the next best thing if you can't spare the flux for the prime bullets. Like I said, so far we are at a 75% in AP reduction. Moving on to barrels, here we must always ensure that we have an aligned one. It can be short or long, just make sure that it has an aligned barrel modification. Although I do recommend the long version since that does increase our range and accuracy quite significantly. The aligned barrels will further reduce your AP cost by 5%. All up, so far that is an 80% in AP reduction. Next is the stock. This one has some wiggle room for you. Both the aligned stock and the forceful stock reduce your AP usage by 5%. So with that being said, you can choose either one. However, the forceful stock is the obvious choice here since it does increase our weapon's durability significantly, which is sorely needed considering the weapon degradation system in this game is so fucked up. So far this brings us up to a 85% reduction in AP usage. Next up is the magazine. This one is simple for VATS usage efficiency. We'll want to pick up the quick magazine for another 5% reduction in AP usage, which does bring out our total so far up to a huge 90% reduction in AP usage. However, another viable option is the Swift magazine, as this one actually offers no change in any way to our AP usage, no negative or benefit in that respect, but it does slightly increase the amount of bullets in our magazine, which is nice to have. So there is a choice here. Either pick the quick for even more or less AP usage, or pick the Swift for more bullets in your magazine. Now they are both perfectly viable for this guide. Personally, I choose the Swift one because it's always nice to have those extra bullets in the magazine. But if you would like to purely go for less AP usage, then it's a no-brainer, go for the quick magazine. And finally we have the sights, and for here there is no better option than the reflex sight. It can be the circle or the dot, it does not matter. Just ensure that there is a reflex sight on your weapon, as this does further reduce your AP usage by 15%, which is miraculously so far totaling at 105%. Yep, that's right, minus 105 AP usage for our weapon with this setup. But wait, stop right there, it's not how it seems. I know what you're thinking, and no, reaching 105% less AP cost does not make you use absolutely zero AP. Nothing of the sort in fact, at least not anymore. And what I mean by this is that the AP reduction system had a slight overhaul when the Wastelanders DLC got released a few months back. Because back then, with this setup, not only did it cost 0 action points to fire in VATS, it actually regenerated your AP every time you fired your weapon, because we had exceeded the 100% AP reduction value. But like I said, this system got a little overhaul after Wastelanders came out. Previously, before Wastelanders, the AP reduction system was purely additive, whereas now it is purely multiplicative. Kind of the opposite of the weapon damage change that just recently happened. Now this means that in actual practice, due to the way this system calculates AP reduction with it being purely multiplicative now, our 105% less AP usage is actually an 83%, and there's nothing we can do to change it, it just gets scaled down due to the calculation differences that the game automatically does. So, with everything said and done here, with all of the modifications correctly being applied, with the legendary effect and with it being automatic, you will get an 83% reduction in AP usage. So there you have it. If you have an automatic weapon with a legendary effect and all the correct weapon mods, you can achieve an 83% reduction in your AP cost usage. Let's test this out on a few of our weapons. Alright ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to be testing out some of our weapons, starting off with what I call the Bowser. See, it has those perfect rolls and the less AP cost. It also has all of the modifications I was talking about earlier, including the quick magazine, just to demonstrate what this looks like with absolute peak performance with AP reduction. As we can see right here, there's a little glitch right now with PvP, so VATS doesn't actually hurt people, which makes testing this fantastic. As you can see, my AP usage is going down incredibly slowly. This is absolutely amazing, and what you're seeing right here translates to the real world with Super Mutants, Scorch Beast, Queens and all of that. It doesn't change. So we've gone through about, I'd say, 5 magazines at this point, and we've only used about half of our AP bar, which is just incredible. And then the good thing about this is, as soon as I hop out, it regenerates insanely fast. That is due to my AP refresh armor and perks. So there's that. And now we will switch to what I call this machine. It's the exact same weapon as before, except the bullets are explosive. Same modifications, except we have the Swift magazine instead of the quick one. This is just to show the slight difference between the two magazines, and also to show that the explosive bullets don't affect our AP usage. So let's get into it. Explosive bullets do, however, somehow hurt people in PvP, so hopefully Neo remembers to heal. But here we can see that the AP usage is more or less the exact same. The only difference here is between that slight 5% that we are missing out on from that quick magazine and swift magazine. As you can tell, it doesn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Our AP usage is effectively the same, and we've used about the exact same amount of rounds, exact same amount of ammo, and we're about halfway, and then it just regenerates just as quickly. So yeah. And now moving on to a handmade rifle that I've renamed to the All-American. It's pretty fitting considering how it looks. It looks just like that Fallout New Vegas one. Anyway, here we have the exact same rolls as the first weapon we tested, and the exact same weapon modifications, except now we have the stinging magazine. This one actually increases the amount of AP we take when we shoot, so it's going to go down slightly quicker. So let's just show exactly what that looks like. Shoot off a few rounds here, and that's one magazine, and about roughly a third of our AP bar is gone, and that's all due to the swift magazine, and that's all due to the magazine being the stinging, because that increases the amount of AP that we use by 5%, which doesn't sound like much, but with the calculation system being the way it is, it actually works out to be a bit more of a handicap. So yes, it is entirely worth it to have your weapons be either quick or swift. As you can see, the difference here is not minimal, it's actually quite substantial. Yeah, I just thought I'd show that off with this. So since the only differences between these two weapons right here is the magazine, that clearly shows the difference in AP usage right there. Anyway, on to the next weapon. And here we are with a very similar weapon, the 10mm pistol, with the less AP cost, and all the correct mods except for the magazine. I decided to go with Swift because this weapon is really lacking in the ammo count for the magazine, so the difference isn't that bad like I've shown previously, so that's what I'll be using. And I'm showing this weapon because a lot of people are under the assumption that you can only achieve hyper optimization with VATS AP usage with rifles, and I'm just showing that this can happen with pistols as well. So here we go. And also huge shout out to Vampire Lord for finding this weapon for me. Thank you, mate. Let's get into it. Keep an eye on the AP usage. And it's bugger all. Look at that. 15 shots and whole AP bar is just hardly being used. It's working like a dream. This is just these type of builds here that work really well with VATS, with these weapon modifications, it just works like a treat. Having this type of information to modify your build will make you so much more powerful. So as you can see there, completely just gotten rid of our AP, and it's back already, not 3 seconds later. And we're ready to go again. Just like that. So all of that I just previously showed is the power of having the correct weapon modifications on if your weapon does have that less AP VATS action point cost legendary effect. Like I said, this stuff only works if it's automatic, with that legendary effect, with roughly the modifications that I said previously. There is some wiggle room with the grip and the magazine, but the rest needs to be as I stated. And just so I don't get these comments in the comment section, no, this does not work with any shotguns that can be automatic. No, it doesn't work with automatic heavy weapons like the LMG, Gatling laser, etc. It just doesn't work with that. However, you can achieve slightly less AP usage, but it is nowhere near as effective as I've shown here with the automatic pistols and automatic rifles. There's just no comparison there. Stuff like that with the heavy weapons and shotguns and single fire rifles even, it's not as good on the AP usage. So yeah. Well, that's it, legends. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all learnt a thing or two and are now more informed on how to make your build more powerful. As always, these are my channel members and Patreon supporters. A huge thank you to all of you, and even our 2 new ones. Thank you so much for joining us, Curtis and The Distinction. Be sure to check out all of my social media down below, subscribe if you're new, and like the video if you enjoyed. As always, I've been Tyr. I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.